there is a clear hunger for a revolution, right? So I'm happy that this exists. For me, the fact that there is a hunger for a revolution, तो मुझे ये थोपने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये अंदर से आ रहा है. Brilliant. So I started talking on these subjects from 2016 onwards. I've been vocal. It's not that I've been talking only then. I've been doing this since my law school days or even before. In certain institutions, जिनको आप वामपंथ का गढ़ मानते हैं, previously क्या होता था कि जो बच्चे उनसे मतभेद रखते हैं, they would not talk about it for the fear of being hounded out, right? 370 के टाइम पे आपने देखा ये सब हुआ था. Do you really believe that the institution that has just cancelled me, it's a matter of just coincidence that there was an invitation extended from the students of that particular institution? You don't see that as a sign of change? इसके पहले ये बहुत कम होता था. Institutions like there is a Mumbai-based institution which focuses on social work and social service. In those institutions, literally PhDs are written, according to me, which are separatist material and secessionist material, which is asking for टुकड़े होंगे. That's it. Period. They're very clear about it. घुमा फिरा के बात करते हैं, लेकिन बात तो वही है. From those institutions, people have written saying we have initiated not just conversations, we are fighting on the ground whenever these topics come about. Please remember one thing. ऐसा नहीं है कि इसके पहले आपके पास तर्क नहीं था या arguments नहीं थे. What is it that me or let's say people like me, what is it that we are trying to do? रीढ़ की हड्डी को मजबूत करना कि जहां भी है लड़ना सीखो, बात करना सीखो, अपने पक्ष को क्लियरली रखना सीखो. That is the central contribution. Everything else is secondary. You have to realize that this has come from a point जहां पे पहले all the books written by Sitaram Goyal and Ram Swarup were self-published or they had to create their own publication house. From there you have traveled to a certain place where so-called Western publications are putting out my works and the works of Dr. Meenakshi Jain and others. I'm not saying therefore let's be complacent. I'm saying recognize that a certain distance has already been traveled. I'm not even in favor of let's say incremental steps. I never said any of those things. My entire point was ये जो दीवारें हैं कॉलेज के अंदर इसको भेदने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए as much as possible because according to me anybody who says he is the left or anybody who says the right, both of them are operating under the same thing. What have I always said? What is the replacement or the substitute for right wing? Exactly. I have never called myself right and whenever I did that I immediately bit my tongue. Not doing it again, ever. So language में change हो रहा है. People are willing to, at a time when you have the maximum possible distraction through social media, either through TikTok and whatnot, if somebody is willing to listen to a lecture either by Sandeep Balakrishnan or a lecture by me or anybody else, that is a sign that there is a clear audience listening and consuming. That's a huge positive according to me. I don't think these are merely incremental, but multiplier effect कौन create कर सकता है? Let me come to that question. Individuals like me can only do what the squirrel did in the building of the Ram Setu. We are doing what we can. Multiplier effect हमेशा create होता है state से. नेहरूवियन मार्क्सिस्ट डिस्पेंसेशन अगर इतने दिन ये कर पाया बिकॉज वहां से पीछे से उनके गॉडफादर का हाथ था उनके सर पे, विच इफेक्टिवली गेव देम द फर्स्ट मूवर एडवांटेज प्लस कंसिस्टेंट इन्वेस्टमेंट फॉर क्लोज टू 70 years और आज भी है. नो वंडर दे इमीडिएटली राइज अप टू द डिफेंस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट. सो ईच टाइम people can vouch for this in several places have basically criticized the current dispensation saying आपके तरफ से ये इन्वेस्टमेंट कहां है करिकुलम में, ह्यूमैनिटीज में, archaeology mein, in all these issues. The purpose of the state is not just formulation of policy. Policies are typically created by the society. The purpose of the state is to provide a fantastic megaphone for the dissemination of the policy and thought. The state is moving at an incremental pace whereas the society is moving at the pace of a geometric progression. That is the difference. So one hopes that the state realizes that the society is ready for this radical change, that students like you exist. And therefore, when they come out with reforms in education, they will have your confidence and your support to defend those policies. National education policy जब बाहर आया था, इसके खिलाफ इतने सारे articles लिखे गए थे. Simple question: how many of you decided to write on the positives of the national education policy, on its language aspects, on its history aspects? Because you have decided कि सरकार अपने आप को बचा लेगी. 370 में भी यही हुआ था, CA में भी यही हुआ था. Why is the majority effectively believing that silence is its golden trait? You should not take pride in being a silent majority. Be a vocal majority. Only then you give them the confidence. Because you see, you put yourself in the shoes of the politician. His first question is going to be, हम तो विचारधारा और इसके नाम पे कर लेंगे. अगली बार जब election होगा हम वापस आएंगे कि नहीं आएंगे. That is the first thing he's going to ask because a significant amount of investment has gone into this. और इतना सब कुछ करने के बाद, if they move out of power, जो सत्ता में नहीं है और उसके बावजूद इतना सब कुछ कर सकते हैं टू डिस्ट्रॉय द फैब्रिक ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर कंट्री, अगर वो वापस आ जाएंगे तब क्या होगा? सो इट इज फॉर यू टू गिव द कॉन्फिडेंस टू पीपल इन पावर दैट we will criticize you where you're wrong, but we will also vocally support you where we believe that you're doing something in the interest of this particular civilization. That has to start. You don't need to do this on a regular basis. I'm the last person who's ever going to ask you to effectively join what I would call a Kavali Mandali. I am not going to support anything of that sort. Give credit where credit is due. But when you need to tell them that, boss, we have chosen you because you are the only vikalp that this particular society and this particular civilization unfortunately has. We wish we had more vikalp. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We have very few options. But if you two don't deliver, तो किसके पास जाएं? These are questions for you to ask. On a regular basis, you have no idea the number of times I've been trolled by this side for these questions. I'm asking for an apolitical approach to some of these issues. Because some of these issues, if you tie them entirely to politics, then you're playing a 20-20 match when you should be playing a test match.